And good morning. Welcome to Bob's Coffee Chat. I'm your host, Bob Bednars, and today's edition is Social Media Done Right. Our presenter is social media expert James Lamont. He is founder and social marketing specialist for Automagic Media. A serial entrepreneur, James has always been deeply involved in the marketing of his businesses. So James, with all the social media options today, from Facebook to TikTok, how do we choose the best ones for our business?
That's a great question. I think it depends a lot on the business and the person and what type of business, but most businesses can use social media. So I'll start the presentation here. I'm going to keep this casual. I'll share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we're talking about here is any kind of social media and what it is, what it's about. And we have a beta program. I'm not going to get into this because this is about that, but it will talk about concepts of social media in general. So when you look at most business owners, right, they're usually overwhelmed with social media and they don't know where to start. A lot of business owners, I do this every day and I talk to them about this. And what it is they tend to have a lot of sense of guilt about they know they should, but they don't know how or what to do. And so they struggle to find this as an easy strategy, right? And you want to keep ahead of your competition, and they know that, but they don't know how to do it. So obviously, if you don't have a big budget for this too, to do advertising and social media, and to hire somebody full time for this, what do you do? And that's a really great point. So when we look at that, owners are frustrated, right? You spend hours posting every month. What happens is month one, right? 20 posts, you don't get any results because you're just starting. Month two, you post a little bit less, still no results. Month three, you drop it down to 10 posts and you continue until you're at 0 posts and no results. And that's, I would say, is the typical way that most businesses start out with their social media, and they end up not doing it anymore because it's frustrating. And frankly, it's not very pleasant. It's exciting and fun in the beginning, but then after a while, it just becomes tedious and you realize it's work. So that's the problem that most businesses have. So what you want to do, start by understanding. Let me get rid of this because I can't see this. Yeah. Okay. So let's review some trends. Think about the overall thought that comes to your mind if these trends mean something to you. 71% of consumers, I'm just going to read this, who've had a good social media service experience with a brand are likely to recommend it to others. And that's really important because social media acts like a referral source if you're doing it right. That's what the importance of it is. So brand engagement, right, and win new customers. Visual content is more than 40 times more likely to get shared on social media than other types. Also, it's very useful if it's interesting, and videos help too. So create visually engaging content to show your offers, products, and services, right? Reputation and special events. So who uses it? 90% of millennials, 77% of Gen X, and then 48% of boomers. So pretty much everybody is using some type of social media. Even those people who say they hate social media are usually communicating on some sort of forum about something, which is, in fact, social media. So what do? I takeaway there is how many social networks does a brand or business need to pay attention to? And that was a big question. That was the first question. The true or false? Every client we could ever want, and every customer our client could ever want, is on social media right now. True. Social media to increase sales and get results, it has to be a top of mind strategy. And that's the problem with social media is that a lot of people forget about it. They start it and they stop and start. And that inconsistency sends that message to your customers. And I want to say before I go on, as a matter of fact, talk about top of mind. So I want to tell a personal story here. When my son, this is many years ago, when he was in grade school, I went to pick him up. And at the time I worked evenings, a couple evenings a week doing workshops. And he asked me, he's like, Dad, are you going to be home tonight? And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I will. And he was so happy. He just beamed and said, oh, great. So that night, I was home. And after dinner, I said, hey, Alex, I'm home. You asked me if I was going to be home. Do you want to do something? He's like, no, I'm good. He just went to go play with his blocks or something else. And I realized the reason he was asking me if I was going to be home was not because he wanted to necessarily engage with me that evening or do anything. He just wanted the security of knowing that I was going to be home. And social media is exactly like that. clients or prospective clients look at your social media, if they don't see that you're posting, it seems like you're not there. It really sends the message that, hey, I'm here for my clients, I'm communicating, I'm doing this every day, and I have consistency. So it's a lot like being a parent in that way. So how often should you post on social media? It's Twitter 4 times a day, twice per Facebook, once per day, right? And then you got 3 times a day on Instagram. So on average, you're looking at 2 times a day. That's what you do. Post twice a day or customers won't come your way. So reason number one, only 12% of followers will see your post. And that's important too, because that's why you consistently have to have new things. And the algorithm in the social media that determines how much of your post gets seen. So reason number two, social networks promote consistency. And that's what you need to understand. If Facebook doesn't see you posting, they think you're not active. It's like Google, right? When Google sees that you have a lot of different things going on, and you have videos, you have other social media, plus you have things in your Google My Business, and you have YouTube especially, that really helps for Google to say, and is it current? Are you doing and updating things currently? That's a good secret for SEO. The same thing is true with social media algorithms. They look for consistency and activity. So what can brands do to get people to make a purchase? This is an interesting study. So 48% of people said being responsive will encourage them to buy. 46% said offering promotion. 42% said providing educational content. 27% said providing behind-the-scenes content. 26% said being funny. And the bottom line is they want you to stay top of mind and awareness to them, the consumer, right? So here's a recipe. This is what I was talking about. If you take this away, this is the most important crux of what I'm going to be talking about. When and how do you do it? So R and recipe. That's recreational. So you want to have funny things, jokes, like Throwback Thursdays, holidays. One of the biggest mistakes I can tell you that 90% of businesses make with their social media is that they just post about themselves over and over again because they don't realize their audience is not them. They're posting for something that they think is interesting, which is, of course, they're obsessed with their business. But most people that come to a business, like for instance, there's a local tire shop, and I've seen their social media, and they fill up now. Recently, they changed it, but before it was just here's another brand of tire, another brand of tire, and yet another brand of tire. And nobody's going to want to come back and see that consistently, right? So if you make it funny and you talk about the holidays and have jokes, people like that. It gives them a reason to show up other than to see just another time, right? Then, so here you go. These are easy little jokes that you can do, right? Whatever and hopefully if they're related to your industry as well. There's plenty of financial jokes or lawyer jokes or any other kinds of jokes, and you should be taking advantage of that. But then the next part, we're going to be talking about facts and trivia, educational things, trends and research. Like again, don't make it about yourself. If you're in the financial business, then talk about financial trends, what's happening. Don't talk about technical stuff about it, but where things are going in general, how the markets are changing, things like that, tips and tricks, case studies about what's happening. So people like interesting educational things, and if they can see you as a resource, and they see that when the post is brought in front of them, they'll come and check you out. And when they check you out, they say, oh, you've got more fun and interesting things to talk about. You give them a reason to come back, right? So here's an example, right? Bird with disabilities receives shoes and walks again, stuff like that. So the other one we're going to talk about conversational. Surveys and polls are one of the most often liked and dealt with participating in terms of all the posts that you can do. So fill in the blank, this versus that, ask advice or questions. People really do like to be engaged. And why this is important is because social media algorithms look for engagement. So if you did put up a joke, you might really find it funny. You might share it with somebody. You might do something with it. But if it's a survey or a poll, people love to give their opinion. We have a new deli, as a matter of fact. Bono Friends are a new client for us in Sonoma. And one of the questions we'll be putting out is this sandwich versus that sandwich. Ketchup on a burger would be another thing. Or whatever it is that relates to your particular business, it's important because as information in terms of putting more of your posts out. And the more they put your posts out, the more people will engage. So it's like a snowball effect. So I got a lot to go through here, so I'm going to go through this a little bit faster than I normally would. The other one, inspirational, quotes, client successes, inspirational images, before and after. Those people love that sort of thing, and they like to see it. And, if you throw that in there, but if you look at here on the number of the side, what we're looking at is that on the recreational side should be 6, right? For every 6 posts, you post 5 on the facts and trivia and trends, and then 4 on the surveys and polls, and then 3 on the inspirational, right? And that's where somebody, an outside person, can help put all this stuff together for you. But then we get to the P, right? That's promotional. So an outside person can help design what the promotion looks like, but you're the one who has to actually come up with the promotions, right? Whatever discounts and offers, live events, demos, webinars, whatever it is you're doing that's promoting your business. But you'll notice that that's at number 2, because again, people don't want to come to your Facebook page or your social page and hear you talk about yourself. It's like any other communication. You don't like to talk to somebody who just talks about themselves all the time, right? So if you keep that to a minimum, you will be more interesting to your clients. Because remember, you have 2 sets of audiences. The one set is the customers and potential customers that come to see your page, but the other one is Facebook itself, right? They're looking at you too. And so they don't care what you post, but they do care about consistency and engagement. But in order to get consistency and engagement, you have to post things that are interesting and that offer engagement, right? So if you're talking about yourself all the time, that's just, you're going to get a smaller and smaller reaction and your audience will dwindle. But then, just showing some examples of promotion. Entrepreneurial, right? So behind the scenes, people like that too. So if you're, you at your office, or if you're, if you have a business, especially like if you do have a restaurant, showing behind the scenes, cooking the food, making sandwiches, doing whatever it is, people like to see the employees in your business, or the people that are just around. It'd be great, like if you had a post talking about, even if you're in a big office where it's it's not yours specifically, but you have a receptionist. People love to say, oh yeah, that's so-and-so, Susie the receptionist, and they would like to hear you tell more about her. Maybe she got married, had a baby, did whatever. People want to know more, and it makes them feel more connected to your business if they know more about the people in your business. So things about your personal life, your mission, as it says, stuff like that. And you were saying, like you guys were just talking about your charitable and public endeavors that you're involved in, and from the outside, post about that. People want to see that. But again, that's down to 1, because that's still about you. So if you understand what I'm saying, is that 4 out of the 6 things that you post about should not be about yourself. Only 2 out of the 6 should be about you.
Now, James, real quickly, we're having a little bit of audio quality from you, and it was suggested that if you turn your video screen off but kept the screen share on, it might boost the video a little better.
Okay, or the audio, you mean?
No, the video, and then we'll have better audio quality. That's what was suggested.
So you're saying, but you can see the screen okay?
We can still see the screen share, correct.
Okay, let me get a mic. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. And while we're waiting, there was a question in there. While we're waiting for James to answer the question, does anybody have the answer to what is behind the scene content? Lanny, would you know oh, there you go. Actually,
yeah. Is that better?
That sounds much better. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah. So
I got you on here. Yeah, there was a question. What is behind the scene content?
Okay, so that's what I meant when I'm saying so for instance, you interview one of the other employees that works with you, or as I say, the receptionist, and they get to know somebody who's in there. Or if it were, say, it depends on the type of business you have. If you're manufacturing something, right, you might want to show people, oh, this is how we manufacture the blank. They might buy it from you. They might want to know about how your warehouse operations work. If you're a gas station, people might want to know, well, what is behind the scenes? How do you operate your gas station? When do those tanker trucks, refill trucks come? How often do they come? Or doing a behind the scenes, like a Facebook Live. where you're just talking about something, you moved into a new office or whatever it is. So behind the scenes is just talking, showing the part of your business that they don't see, not the front side, the back side. So again, like I was saying, if you had a restaurant, the behind the scenes would be what's going on in the kitchen, right? People don't go behind the kitchen, they're at the table in the restaurant. But if you take a video and you go behind the scenes and you talk to the chef or you talk to somebody and they're talking about how they make a particular meal or put it together, how they plate it, then people like that kind of thing because they don't get to go behind the kitchen. So that's what behind the scenes means.
And by the
Is that
way,
good?
your audio, yes, and your audio is superb right now. So keep going.
Excellent. Okay. So basically, there you go. You have the recipe. You can take that, and that's the basic rundown of the types of posts that you should be making and how often you should be making them. So what's important too, it is like a digital storefront for your business. And here you have the picture of the woman looking into the storefront. And I got to tell you, I don't have it here, but just use your imagination. If you're looking for a business and you come across a business, whether they have nice reviews are very important. They go to your Facebook page and they say, you see somebody who's posting regularly, and then you go to somebody else, you go to another business and they haven't posted for 3 months. Then it gives you the impression that they're closed. Like, why are they not posting? What are they going out of business? Do they not have anything to say? Why, it's a very odd thing. And everyone's had that experience if you've looked up businesses online, that if you have to choose two businesses, people will choose the one that is the most current and up to date in terms of its communication. So we've done the posting thing. So what I want to talk about now is something that's just as important. And this is vital. What I want to talk about is covers, Facebook covers. If you'll notice, this is an actual Facebook cover here. And yes, you had the nice pretty lady and her smile and everything, but that doesn't say anything. It doesn't communicate anything. And you look at how much space, this is 50% of the space that you have. So for instance, in this example, 50%, right? Now in Twitter, you're looking at also 50%. And it says, okay, love your smile, that's great, but you have all this space. And in fact, you have to post because it's required for all sorts of reasons. But do not forget about your cover. That is extremely important. And I'll explain why, what you can do with it. So here's Midtown Dentistry, right? Again, it's a nice picture, but it doesn't say anything. It's not communicating anything, and it's a waste. You got 60%, that's your Google Plus, right? So 30% on YouTube. So what do I mean? Each cover is like a billboard, and it is a huge opportunity. It's night and day with what you can do with your social media covers. As an example, you got before, 3 different things, and then after. So you've got here, you have somebody showing their 5-star review, right? And you've got a 50% off or whatever it might be, whatever the promotion is. You can do that all the time. You should be changing your covers at least once a month, right? So special offers, discounts, promotional giveaways, that should be on your Facebook cover, because everyone that comes to your Facebook page, I'm just going to use Facebook, doesn't see all your posts or may not read any of your posts. They may see the 1 or 2, but they're generally not going to scroll down a long ways. They want to see that you have current posts and you posted yesterday or the day before or this month. But what they will all see is your cover. And so you have that cover in order to talk about whatever's going on in your business. And whether it's Mother's Day and you say, hey, it's Mother's Day, 50% off whatever that you want to promote, that's a great idea. Put that on your cover. Don't just have a blank picture is what I'm saying, or just an ordinary picture. So in this is example, this is one we did for a client, right? A summer fashion event. And you've got the picture, it's there, you put their logo there, whatever your logo would be. But again, you also have holiday covers, right? So holidays, special occasions, celebrate a cause, whatever the case may be. So in this case, Happy Thanksgiving, right? So that's one we put out for others. Actually, we have several of them that we do. So they don't all look the same for all the businesses we work with, but we're constantly redesigning and making new covers. And what we do actually is we spent the last year looking at over 1,000 different covers and how they're designed and which ones get the most reaction, so we could design them to get the best value for our clients. But you should always be promoting, if nothing else, put one of your 5-star reviews up, and have that there as a regular cover, because that's what clients want to see. That's what a customer wants to know. That's the most important thing that you can do with your cover. But you can also spotlight, right, a customer. You say, oh, Frank's a new customer and he did this or whatever, or we did this job for Frank on his car, whatever the case may be. You should be promoting your expertise, right? Talking about what you did. Do you have any special licenses? Do you have whatever it is that it might be that you want to talk about? So you can see branding covers inspire people to, sorry, my phone went off. Inspire buyers experience, right? Brand your slogan, your USP, product, showcase products, services, whatever it is. Another thing I will tell you is that when you have followers, Facebook says, okay, we're going to send out these posts and let people know that they're going to put you in their feed if they like your page. But how often that gets done depends a lot on the engagement in your posts, as I was just talking about. But almost always, if you change your Facebook cover, that will go out to your followers. So you've got a great thing to tell them, and it has a very good likelihood that Facebook is going to put it in the people like your pages, put it in their feed. And that's what you want. Otherwise, social media is useless, because if people don't know you're there, it's irrelevant, right? It's just, you think you're being looked at and you see it, but you've got hundreds of followers, and you know how Facebook works, right? You just get the same people over and over again. Unless you start engaging with other people and looking for other people, you can get stuck in a loop, which is great if you're the one, if it's you that is stuck in their loop, but that's how you get there. Change your covers. So for instance, what you want to do is 10 times social cover engagement strategy. So what do? We'd start off with New Year's. Talk about New Year's. Obviously, this is a couple years old, but then you have a reputation cover. You tell people about that. Then they might celebrate Valentine's Day, right? Then the next one might be an offer, right? You talk about 50% off or whatever you're doing, or a free financial plan, for whatever, or a basic financial plan, right? 4th of July, another holiday. But it gives people a reason. Every month you're telling Facebook, we have something to say and are changing our cover. And that really helps. Have another reputation cover, right? Another holiday cover, social media post that you can get out and talk about that. You can put that on. And you should also, by the way, did you know you can take videos and put videos on your cover? In fact, we have that right now on our Automagic Media. We have a testimonial video that is our cover right now for our Facebook page. So here we go again. There's Christmas celebration cover, right? So that's it. That's the basic presentation there. I will tell you also, I have available for you. That's a lot to go over, and I went over it quickly, but there is a map if you're interested. We have a map here. And this is a secret social media recipe strategy, everything I just talked about. We have a map, and if you're interested, just put in the chat box or let me know, and I can give you this mind map, and it goes over everything you could possibly need to do. So if you want it, just let me know, and I can send out a link to you. So that is it for my presentation. Are there any questions or?
Thank you, James. That was really good.